Hi Midland, it's Katie Geyer, and I'm here at the DRC, the Disaster Recovery Center, at 1407 West Carpenter Street in Midland. I'm here with Renee Buffalis from FEMA, and we are going to get some more information about all of the opportunities that people have here at the DRC, as well as with the Small Business Administration. Renee, thank you so much for meeting with me today.
Absolutely.
So let's get started. How can people register with FEMA?
Well, there are several different ways to go about that process. You can call our 1-800-621-3362 number. Again, that's 1-800-621-FEMA. They can go online to Assistance.gov, register that way. You can also come into our Disaster Recovery Center here in Midland and register.
So where is the Disaster Recovery Center located?
It's at 1407 West Carpenter Street at the old Carpenter Elementary School. And we are open Monday through Saturday. Monday through Friday, it's from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. And then on Saturdays, it's open from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Tell me a little bit about the different services that flood victims can actually access when they come to the Disaster Recovery Center.
Well, let me tell you a little bit about the process. The process is you come into the center. A lot of times folks will have registered prior to coming in. They'll receive a registration number. They come in, they register at the front desk, and then they can go and speak with some of our representatives from our individual assistance program, find out exactly what the status of their claim is, or if they've registered here, they can do that as well. We have phone banks that they can register on. Right now, with the situation in Texas, those phone banks are pretty overwhelmed. Yeah. So we also have a process where we can sit down with them at the computer and help them register through that means as well. But once you come in here, you will meet with a representative, find out exactly where your claim may lie, and if you have any particular issues, if you've received, say, determination letters from FEMA, they can help you with that, find out exactly where the problems may be if you've been deemed ineligible for assistance. And that's a really great situation here for folks because they have an advocate working for them, helping them go through that, helping them to write the appeals if indeed they need that. These are the types of things we have here. We also have our mitigation folks that can help them if they're looking at repairing damages and trying to prepare for future situations. They can help them answer some questions on how they might mitigate a future problem. Additionally, we have our partner agency, which is the Small Business Administration, and they can help them in that regard too, help fill out applications or also help them through that loan process.
Sure. If someone is denied grant assistance from FEMA, what other options are available to them?
Well, really, if you're denied the assistance, we really ask you to appeal that situation. Now, a lot of times you need to read those letters very carefully to find out exactly the reason for the denial. A lot of times it may be something very minimal. Maybe you didn't fill out the application properly. Perhaps we're waiting for your insurance companies to let us know exactly what they're going to cover because we cannot duplicate what an insurance company may cover.
Sure.
So we have to wait till that information comes through. It may just be that you have a very small issue that can be resolved very easily. Our folks here can help in that process, help you write the appeal. You have 60 days from the date of that letter to appeal.
Perfect. What information should people bring with them when they are coming to the Disaster Recovery Center to either seek assistance, also just to get more information?
Well, the things that we really would like for them to have is information obviously pertaining to their insurance. We also ask folks if you have proof of ownership of your property or if you're a renter, maybe your rental agreement. We also would like you to let us know exactly if you've had to move out of your home. We need to know where you have moved to so that we have a location to be able to contact you, a phone number where you may be, and if you want your funds the grant money that may be coming to you to be directly deposited into your checking accounts, we'll need that account information as well.
Perfect. Now, speaking of that, how much aid has been given out by FEMA for this flooding event so far?
To date, right now, it's a little under $4 million, about $3.96 million in individual household assistance. That includes housing assistance, and other needs assistance. So it's still in the works. We still are moving forward. We have 1 month left in the registration process, so I'm sure those numbers will change.
Sure. Now, how long will this disaster recovery center remain open in Midland?
Our recovery centers and FEMA as a whole will be in the communities until the needs of those communities are met. So we do not have an end date for this particular recovery center right now. We still have 2 recovery centers open, this one here in Midland and another one down in Isabella. So if you're in any of the communities where those recovery centers have already closed, you're welcome to come to the 2 remaining recovery centers that are here. The biggest point that we want to put forward is we are 30 days into this disaster. We have another 30 days until the registration deadline, which is October 2nd. So we really want to stress to folks, if indeed they have received damages and they think, well, maybe my damages aren't so bad, I really don't need to register. Sometimes we don't know exactly how severe the damages were to your home until months later. Perhaps you haven't turned on your furnace yet, and then you go to turn it on and you find that furnace isn't working. Just things of that sort. Maybe some of the walls in your basements were not affected to the eye, and then down the road you find out that indeed there was some situation that may be occurring. So we really stress to folks, if you have not registered, do so before October 2nd, because if that happens to you after that deadline and you're not registered, we won't be able to assist.
Absolutely. Now, how again can people register in addition to coming to the DRC? I know there are a couple of different options they have. What other options can they use if they can't physically get here?
They can call our 1-800-621-3362 number, or they can go online to Assistance.gov, which is probably a more viable option at this point. We also have a TTY number for those that are hearing impaired. That's 1-800-462-7585. And we really encourage folks to go through the process, get registered before that October 2nd deadline.
Now I'm here with Gus Fernandez from the Small Business Administration, here to talk with us a little bit about how SBA plays into the DRC as well as the overall flood recovery effort. Thanks again, Gus, for joining me as well.
Thank you for having me.
So can you tell me a little bit about how the SBA works into this entire process and what people will see when they come here and they interact with you at the Disaster Recovery Center?
Yeah, what happens is we're the little engine that could. When it comes to a disaster, the Small Business Administration is the lending agency for the federal government.
Sure.
What happens is when you register with FEMA, whether you are a homeowner, a renter, or a business, there's a good possibility that you will be referred to the SBA. On this disaster, 80% of everyone that has registered has been referred to the Small Business Administration. Okay. So that's a key point that I want to make here, that if you get an indication that you have been referred to us, you should register through the SBA and go through the process of the loan application.
Sure. Now, what kind of assistance is available through the SBA for flood victims?
Basically, there are loans, low interest loans. It's 1.9% for homeowners and 3% for businesses. Now, that is for the life of the loan. Usually when you go to a commercial bank for a business loan, it's going to be for a period of time and then they change the interest rate. Sure. These loans are for as long as 30 years if necessary. Now, homeowners, if they had insurance, what they have to keep in mind is that there are deductibles and there are also the amount of money they're going to pay you back for your lost property. So most of them are saying, I don't need a loan from the SBA because I have insurance. What's going to happen is when they get that check from the insurance company, it might be shorter than what they need to recover.
Sure.
Now, if they haven't registered with SBA and apply for the SBA loan, what's going to happen is after October 2nd, they're not going to be able to do so. So it's imperative that if they were referred to by FEMA to the Small Business Administration, that they go through the process.
Now, what types of items can flood victims use the SBA loans for?
It's any household. It could be the structure of the building that was damaged. It could be a personal vehicle that was impacted or a business vehicle that was impacted. Also, in business loans, we can do economic injury loans, which is basically loss of income because of the disaster. So we will provide them with capital to pay necessary expenses, payroll, rent, mortgage payments, that sort of thing.
Okay. Now walk me through the process of applying for an SBA loan.
What you're going to do is when you register with FEMA, they'll make a determination whether you would be referred to the SBA or go through the FEMA process. If they are referred to the SBA, that is a separate application process. People think, well, I was referred to them, what do I do now? Well, if you did the process online, you can go online and do the application online with SBA. If you'd rather come to the center, we can help you out with the application process. We have staff in every disaster recovery center that can walk them through the process.
Now, once people receive their loan from the SBA, how long does that typically take?
Really, it's driven by what requirements are for that specific loan. But on average, in this disaster, we've already closed 216 loans for over $6 million. So that's a large amount for this type of disaster.
How long does the entire process take from once they apply for an SBA loan to the point where they actually receive the funding?
We've seen on average about 2 weeks where they apply for SBA, and these are mostly folks who had all the necessary documentation ready for the process. If they get the loan closing documents, they can visit the center and we can help them with the loan closing process.
Okay.
And if they can't go to the center, we can walk them through the process online.
What type of documentation do they need to bring to the DRC if they were to come apply for a loan in person?
Basically, for the startup process, it's just personal identification information. If they have insurance, possibly a copy of the insurance document showing what coverage they had. If they settle already with insurance, then that settlement letter saying how much they got paid for their losses.
Okay. So what happens if a flood victim gets declined for an SBA loan?
That's a good question. What we would do at that point is, if we decided that they would not qualify for the loan because either their income was too low and there was other issues that wouldn't justify making them a loan, then we may refer them back to FEMA for other needs assistance.
Okay. So to get started with this whole process, do flood victims need to register independently with you, or do they start with the FEMA process first?
They always start on a presidential declaration. They always start with FEMA.
Okay. I want to thank Gus and Renee for speaking with us today, and make sure that you register by that October 2nd, 2017 deadline. It's very important, even if you don't think that you need financial assistance right now, that you go ahead and get registered. It will make the process much easier for you going forward. For all the latest updates, news, and information related to the June 2017 flooding event, visit bit.ly/MidlandFlood. You can also find that link on the homepage of our website at cityofmidlandmi.gov.